Yo, what's going on, everybody? Today is Monday, August 18th, 2025. Bitcoin block height 910,599. Transaction fees 1 sat per VByte across the board. Low, medium, and high priority. Just over 57,000 unconfirmed transactions in this mempool. Bitcoin USD price 115,045 US pieces of paper. 24-hour high was 118,641. And the 24-hour low was all the way down to 114,703. We going down to 100? Are we going down to 100K? Below 100? 99? 92? Been hearing some people talk about $92,000 Bitcoin. Oh, would that be nice? $1 gets you 869 Satoshis. But for me, though, I'm pretty much happy. Like 115, I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is good. Maybe 115 is good. We saw it go down to like 112, I think it was. We saw it go down to like 112. Let's take a look here. The month low. Yeah, 112,203. All the way up to 124,490. So 115 is looking pretty good, actually. 115 is looking nice. But I still would like to get it below 100K. We might dip below 100K real quick. I probably should just put a buy order in because I might not catch it. Might happen while I'm sleeping. All right, Bitcoin Spaces protocol 1.5134 total Bitcoin burned. 8,402 bids. 2,610 transfers and registers. And 2,711 rollouts. Spaces in auction. 365. OT. Press. GP. NB. Sultan. Claimable in about 4 hours and 30 minutes. Ads. DVPN. MP4. Claimable in about 9 hours and 40 minutes. Recent Spaces actions. 3 transfers on 2 peace sign emojis and Crystal. And 6 bids on MN, RO, OX, TK. A Puni code 360. Latest rollouts in Spaces protocol. We saw 3 emojis, a zebra, what is that? A bat? A lemur? Some sort of animal. What is this thing? A koala? Got pointy ears. I don't know what that thing is. Emojis crazy. People rolling out emojis here. Wild. And a camel. TQ, KL, Spartan, QZ, TCG, XF, and YX. We continue to see the double digits. Emojis and double digits right now taking over Spaces protocol. We had the 1 digit, single digits go real quick. Now the double digits and emojis just flying off the board. People bidding on them like crazy. How many bids we got? 8,402 bids. So working our way up to 10,000 bids on Spaces protocol. Pretty awesome. We'll see if we can get to 10,000 bids before the year's over. Let's pull the calculator over here. So 12 months, we get to 10,000 bids divided by 12 months. So this will be the end of November. Damn. So 833 bids per month. That's pretty good. Divided by 4. 208 bids a week. Divided by 7. All right, not bad. 29.76. So about 30 bids a day. Damn. 30 bids a day? Steady? Yow. Okay. 30 bids a day on a brand new protocol nobody knows nothing about, barely anyone's talking about, only if you know, only if you know about it. I'm trying to get the word out to let people know. I mean, it's an amazing idea, dude. Naming on Bitcoin. There's a lot of contention going on. You got the op return debate, you got the knots versus core craziness. But even knots people are starting to come around. They're running their nodes at 42 bytes by default. Some are bumping them back up to the previous core standard, which is 80 bytes. I think finally people are starting to realize, like, yeah, you know what? Some things are valuable on Bitcoin. It's just that when you're like, yo, unlimited data on Bitcoin, that might be a stretch. Right now you're hurting Bitcoin itself. And without Bitcoin as money, then everything else falls apart. So we can't mess that up, Storing arbitrary data on Bitcoin is good if done responsibly. It has to be done responsibly with respect to the chain. If you're just going to be running it up, spamming it up, and that's the question, like, what is spam, right? How? Okay, fine. Where do you draw the line, I thought we were cool at 80 bytes. I thought 80 bytes was cool, Spacer Protocol fits in between that. It's in those standards. 80 bytes was going on for years. And then all of a sudden, Core wants to open it up. I don't know the reason for the unlimited op return data carrier size, and also taking the ability away for nodes, so you can't even do data carrier size equals any bytes on your node. Apparently, if you upgrade the Bitcoin Core version 30, I don't know. I ain't upgrading though. I ain't switching to knots yet either. I'm just chilling with, version 29.8, 28.9, whatever the hell I got. I don't even know. But I ain't upgrading and I ain't switching just yet. I'm probably going to spin up another node though, just to mess with knots. I think it is just it's core, but it just has some features, which is cool, which is cool. And I want to just do it again anyway. It was so easy to set up a node. And I'm like, okay, well, let me just do it again. I want to refresh. Let me get a refresher. And just have it on another one, I'll run core, I'll run knots, whatever one. I'll run spaces. I'll spin up spaces again. I'll run spaces protocol. Maybe I'll run fabric. And I just learning, installing Linux. This was the first time I installed Linux. I was like, oh, I got to run a Bitcoin node. I got to get in on this spaces protocol. I saw this Mike Carson on Robin Sayers podcast, and I was like, yo, this shit sounds legit. And I was already looking at naming on Bitcoin because it's such a huge industry with domains, and you got ICANN that rules the internet, and DNS. It's such a valuable thing where we turn hard to read data into human readable names. And Bitcoin is such a valuable thing that it's like, yo, that these two eventually are going to be married. Anything that's valuable that doesn't mess up Bitcoin, that can possibly be put on Bitcoin and verified by Bitcoin, will be done so. It will be done. Why the hell wouldn't it be done? You have this decentralized permissionless database called Bitcoin. Yeah, it's slow. Yeah, it's clunky, right? All those things. Okay, cool. That's cool. But what else is it? It's permissionless. It's decentralized, right? It's everyone can see it. It's transparent. So those are huge values. Fine, it's slow. We live in a world where everything's fast. There's no shortage of things that are lightning speed. But we certainly have a shortage on trust, verification without a man in the middle. And that's what Bitcoin provides. So if you need any service or any product or anything that you want to have nobody in the middle, that complete transparency, that anyone can just verify 24/7, 365, where else are you going to go? You're going to go to proof of work, Bitcoin. That's where you're going to go. So everybody's going to go there, of course. And we're talking, all this stuff. Yo, everyone's going to go to Bitcoin. This is just the beginning of people trying to get in here. You think you're going to gatekeep and be like, oh, data carrier size 0? No, okay, go ahead. But then it's still on, right? Other people are going to choose not to do that. So I think we just got to find somewhere in the middle. Data carrier size 80, 60, 40, whatever it happens to be, where we could be some sort of respectful middle where it's going to be useful to people that want to store stuff on chain. And who are you to decide, right? Let the market decide what's useful and what's not, what's spam and what's not. As long as it doesn't mess up, Bitcoin. So where is that? 60 bytes, 80 bytes? I don't know. Somewhere around there, I would guess. And it's just like the block size, right? It's like, well, where can we have the block size? We don't want the block size to be too big because we want people to be able to run nodes. We don't want nodes to be so huge and expensive that no one can run them. So that's why, 10 megabyte blocks, 1 megabyte block. I don't even know what the block size is, right? What's the block size? What is it? I don't know. Block size. Does it tell me that somewhere? Block height, block time, chain size. All right, so chain size, 774 gigs, right? So it's almost a terabyte. So that's the thing too, where if the chain gets too big, you don't want, people won't be able to run it. But as technology comes and gets better and better, it will be cheaper to get a terabyte hard drive. It already is. You get an SSD terabyte hard drive. I don't know, $80, something like that. Like, it's not hard. It's not expensive. So you just have to find a middle ground. Hey, it's crazy, right? We're in the beginning of this. We're in the beginning. I don't know what size these blocks are here. No. I'll have to look that up. All the stuff you gotta learn. All right, upcoming rollouts: Pandora, Synaptic, NM, Trojan, Olympian, Euro, Puni codes, and XY. Spaces.market, latest listings: Uno, WI, Wii, API. Is that the Nintendo Wii? Oh no, that was WII. Nintendo Wii, Ice, MTG, Ord, Prime, Pink, LY. Yeah, so something as important as naming identities, digital IDs. Look, digital IDs are coming. Digital IDs are here. You have an ID, you have a passport, you have a driver's license. You got all these IDs, man. Now we need digital IDs, right? It's just like money. We need an ID with no one in the middle. Just like we have money with no man in the middle, now we have identities with no man in the middle. And that is Spaces Protocol. Learn about it. Spacesprotocol.org. All right, that's going to be it for this one. Thank y'all for watching.